Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Kathy, and it is October 1st, which just amazes me because I can just kind of blink my eyes and remember what I was doing, almost 10 months ago. So, whoops, looks like I got a piece of tea on my lips. There it is. Yeah, a little tea flake. So, let us go into our heart source. Those who already know how to fully go into your heart source, you just say heart source when you've practiced this a lot. And for those of us who have not, and it's always fun to do it this way anyway, is to move into the front of your heart chakra. Now move into the back of your heart chakra. Move into the front of your third eye. Move into the back of your third eye. And now draw, intend, imagine a beam of energy from your heart chakra up to your third eye. And send that beam of energy straight up to the center of the universe. And down to the center of the earth. Whereas Amma says you are now grounded above and below. And command, chakra spin as fast as is safe for me. Just remember to breathe in and out. Now declare I am the sword. Now declare activate violet flame. Because we've been activating it around the seventh layer, it automatically goes there. And I'm talking about seventh layer of the aura. Heart source expand to the furthest reaches of my body, be it fingertips that are horizontal or the seventh layer. There you go. Amma is saying, everyone, notice who is around you. Notice angels, guides, healing team, other people that come in and out of your life. Those who are on the other side, whether it be people that you knew once in this incarnation or you knew in other lifetimes, or who are members of your soul family. There we go. And now, healing lecture room. A floor of light below us, a canopy of light above us, pillars of light in the corner, and members of, just when I say just, I don't mean to minimize it, but only from Archangel Michael's band. I think we're going to hear from him today. How cool. And those angels are from pillar to pillar to pillar to pillar to pillar. And then there is the central pillar. All of this is an infinite space. It expands and expands and expands. Anybody who watched the Harry Potter movies, it's like you see them go into this little tent and then they have made it this huge, huge thing. There you go. Well, that's interesting. I don't know. Those of you who are familiar with Harry Potter, there were two men that played Dumbledore in the one, and I don't remember his name. The actor who played Dumbledore the last few years, he just passed on, and he has actually come to our healing lecture room. But I mentioned Harry Potter. He's telling me that was great fun. Now just feel your energy. I'm getting this to feel your energy now. And let us now place ourselves in the healing room. Healing room. And just to mention, if you want to unmute and mention people, you may, or you just say in your mind, whoever it is that you wish to put. I'm gonna mention a couple. My sister and brother-in-law both have COVID. These are the ones in Central Texas. They just got back from a trip to Canada. Sue Ellen got sick coming back from Vancouver. And then she's been ill since Thursday, and now her hubby Don has it. There are a lot of people that we have been praying over, whether it's praying for, whether it is here in this group or whether it's been in our Wednesday healing group. And let's just place all of them as a whole. There are people with cancer, people who have been struggling with different illnesses, people who have been struggling with family issues, our own confusion at times, wondering where we go now, what we do. If anybody has anybody else they would like to say out loud, please just mention them.
Aaron Casey.
Aaron or Karen?
Aaron E.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Her family, children, and husband.
Okay,
Ireland. In Ireland.
In Ireland.
My up north neighbor John and my down neighbor here Ken, and my two colleagues Diane and Cisco, who both came down with strokes, severe strokes.
Wow. Okay, thank you.
For Peggy Rome, who just passed.
Peggy Rome. I know her.
Yes. Yes, you do. That's
Welcome home, Peggy.
And for Brian, Michael, Melissa, Dawn, Glory, Richard. Thank you.
How was Sharon after her biopsy?
That was the other one I wrote you about. I don't know how the biopsy, well, she's had the surgery.
Okay.
She had the surgery Thursday, and she's doing quite well.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, good. And all of our healing teams are gathered around in a circle, and our soul selves, which is what Alma calls the higher self, gathered around in the circle, and we are invited to come in. And this time, many times then, we're asked to put all of those that we are asking for prayer for that are not us in the inner circle, but this time they're saying they are going to be with you, all of you in a sense holding hands, heart connected with each other, the ones that you are holding in your mind and in your heart. So thank you. And the energy now is coming in, and there's going to be 7 waves of energy coming in, and I'm being told that 7 is a metaphorical number. All of the waves, they're really, 7 is just a wonderful number. And the first wave coming in is to bring balance to family issues, your own difficulties you may have with the family as a whole. Energy is coming in to break the negative cords of anger and fear. And I just received a message that so many of the negative cords come from jealousy and the fear of not being loved or cared for as much as another. Isn't that interesting? And now an energy is coming in still for family. It's still the family energy. And it is to release the feelings and the experience of rejection. This happens a lot in marriages or partnerships that are breaking up, that somebody feels rejected. And again, it comes from the experience of believing that you are not receiving enough. And of course, the not receiving enough really is about the love energy. The next wave of energy coming in has to do with spirit and relationship with spirit. It has to do with feeling less than, feeling insecure about receiving, that you're not deserving, insecure about love, receiving love from spirit and receiving love from yourself and for yourself. The third wave of love coming in is to adjust your immune system and all parts of your immune system that are all parts that could contribute to your immune system. And then Hilarion, who must be involved with this, he kind of winked at me and said, the sub third wave has to do with balancing all microbes, because that is connected with your immune system. The fourth wave of energy is to release anxiety. And it is to bring healing to the long-term anxiety. It was mentioned earlier before we started the recording, a long-term anxiety that you may feel now, but actually had its beginnings when you were a child. And you are being asked, I am being asked to tell that young child who is still so active in you and doing everything she or he can to protect you, that it's your turn to take care of that child, and that everything is okay now, even though it doesn't seem like it. That you've learned a great deal about how there are things you can control, things that you can't control, and that being anxious about what you cannot control is actually a useless emotion that takes care of all of that energy that you need to stay centered and grounded in your heart. The next wave of energy, the fifth wave of energy coming in, is actually focused on your metaphorical heart and the heart of stone. However thick your heart of stone may be, if it's just a very thin veneer of protection, or if it's, encased in a thick, thick box, we are asking for that to be dissolved. You, of course, have to receive that. You have to be welcoming that in. And Kuan Yin is saying, remember when you ask to be given that heart of flesh, that it can be like walking around nude, because that's what that covering around your heart, what people will call the heart of stone, does, is it prevents you from being naked, vulnerable with your emotions, and seeing transparency with yourself. And you might have to calm down your little child self with this. The sixth wave of energy is to balance, repair, heal, strengthen the energy field in every way. We're going meridians, we are going the layers of the chakra, we are going into the divine blueprint, the sixth layer. We are going into what even structures that we're not familiar with, removing connection. And of course, you, again, as I'm being told, we have to allow that to happen, be willing. And it's all about being willing to be vulnerable and transparent. Allowing that in. And the seventh wave of energy is a wave of energy which is specific to each one of us and specific to each person that you have placed. You have placed in your healing circle, in their healing teams, and which consists of their soul self. That vibration of healing is just for us, just for them. And again, open yourself to that. And let us rest for about a moment, and a minute or so. I don't have an exact timer here, but just rest for a little bit. Allow it to happen. If fear comes up, you just tell that part of yourself that's afraid, we're okay. We're okay. This is a safe space. And now, in closing, see yourself go to each one of those you have placed in the healing circle and just giving them a big hug. And now, healing team, Hilarion, Kuan Yin, anyone who is here, spirit, all aspects of spirit, we offer our thanks to you. And now we are transforming the space into a lecture room. So just make your seat as comfortable as you can, exactly what you want. I always love that, you know, I kind of see myself in this nice recliner, even though I'm not in one now. With the best cup of tea I can find. Some of you aren't tea people, but I am. Enjoy yourself. And we're going to hear from Michael the Archangel. I don't know the last time I channeled him. But the very first book that I had come out with, like technology, which was Change Your Encodement, Your Life, Your DNA. I think the very first message in there is from Archangel Michael. And guess what he's doing in that one? He's giving us the sword. So that's way back when. So would like each of you to heart connect to, to the central pillar. And if you would also heart connect to me, that would be very precious to me. Y'all give me much energy when you do that. And now the next one you hear will be Archangel Michael. Michael. Greetings to you, fellow bearers of the sword. I wanted to spend a little time to share with you what I do in regards to spiritual Lovefare and why having your support, your activity is important to this process. There may be people listening to this later. I know you know, so I don't have to tell you that, but there may be people listening later who wonder what spiritual Lovefare is. Most of the world, and whether it's the Christian tradition or other traditions, call it spiritual warfare. And in the English, the words come from warfare, comes from a word meaning conflict and journey. We do not want a spiritual journey of conflict. We want a spiritual journey of love. And that is what I do with my sword, and have offered my sword to the entire world, all 8+ billion people, those who would like to accept it. I would be gladly delighted to hand them the sword if they wished it. It is important to know that the sword that you have cannot be misused. It cannot use to turn anything positive into a lower vibration. It is impossible for that to happen. And I do mean impossible. Some of you say, oh, but some people could do black magic. Not with my sword, can they? That is impossible. It has special vibrations, special encodements, if you would, geared to the highest element of light from the creator of all, and the creator that I serve and the creator that you serve. When you do your work, your spiritual work, whether you know it or not, you are participating in spiritual Lovefare. Amma has said many times to heal yourself, that one of the most important things that you can do is to ask for healing of yourself. It is to release the pain that you have had. It is to release what some people call triggers. And the only way you can release those is to go into healing. There are people who call themselves healers. And they are, that is not a dispute. But what they think, many, not all, hopefully not you as you have been trained well by Amma, is they think it is selfish to heal themselves. It is necessary to heal yourself. It is a gift to the world to heal yourself. It is a gift to the world to be the sword. It is a gift to the world to surround yourself with the energy of the sword and to incorporate the violet flame so that you are protected from low vibration energies. Most of the time, these low vibration energies which come to you are not intentional. Most people do not know how to send low vibration energies. If it is a small percentage of this 8 billion people around. However, they do not manage their own energy. And that is actually what I want to talk to you today. As a member of one who carries the sword and activates the sword, part of your training is to manage your own low vibration energies. When you were taught about artificial encodements, it is important to remember that artificial encodements come from several places, predominantly from two, from other people and from yourself. Other people, what comes from them is their anger at you, their disappointment in you, their jealousy, their envy, their whatever that they have, and they send their energy to you. Most don't know that that's what they're doing. But because they are angry or they are in fear or they have envy or jealousy, you are there. And that energy automatically goes because there is a connection from their thoughts, energy follows intent, to you. Very few know how to send intentionally that energy. When they know how to send it intentionally, that is called a curse. So when you protect yourself, when you are grounded, when you are within your heart source, when you have declared, I am the sword, when you use the violet flame, some people call it putting on the armor of God, which you find in the Christian tradition, then you are protecting yourself from energy that is coming to you. You yourself create artificial encodements. That happens with your reaction to being wounded. That happens from your reaction to not receiving what it is you want, to your own sense of jealousy towards others, to your own anger, to your own fear, to your own depression, your own anxiety. Whenever you remind yourself, you rehearse the injuries you have had, whenever you rehearse the trauma you have had, you have increased the amount of trauma energy within you. You have added to the trauma others have added to you. Every time you rehearse what happened to you and you allow those same feelings to come up, you are increasing the artificial encodements of those feelings. That is why it is critical. And it is a wonderful practice to learn. To catch yourself every time you start rehearsing an energy. And I know, I watch just as Amma and Abba watch, just as Source watches, the Creator, whatever name you wish to use. I watch you struggle with this. I see you because I am with all of you, because I am a protector of all of you. And I see your mind going and you rehearsing something and you stop. You say, no, no, no. I take it back. You use many different ways. And then you're at a place of peace. You go heart source and you're at a place of peace. And then suddenly you find yourself going over those same thoughts and you get angry with yourself for doing it. When that happens and you say heart source, and then you go deep within yourself and breathe. You remind that aspect of yourself that this is something you can do. Because the aspect of yourself that you are speaking to is not who you are now. It's who you were when the trauma occurred. Whether it was a minor trauma or it was a major trauma, it does not matter. But you are, when you are in that space, not of your age. I realize this is something that this one has spoken about before, but let's do this exercise again. Go to the last time that you can recall that you were caught in those circular thoughts of anger or fear or grief. I don't want you to stay there. I want you to stay there long enough to get the answer to this question. How old do you feel? And come back, be in your heart source. Come back with that age. You notice, I don't believe there's anyone here now doing that exercise, but you notice the age you are is not the age you are now when you were there. You may be very young. You may be a toddler who is rebelling against the severe trauma of not getting the cookie. Because after all, when a toddler wants that cookie, that is their whole life. Or you may be the toddler who was waiting to get their diaper changed and nobody came and you felt abandoned. Now, here's something that you have not been taught before. You have the sword, correct? I want you to connect with that aspect of yourself that is that age, whether an infant, even in the womb, or someone who is 3 days younger than you are now. And I want you to connect with that aspect of yourself, heart to heart. Know that you are the older and wiser one of this one. And once you connect heart to heart, look in each other's eyes and tell them, I am going to hand you something wonderful. Hold your hand out. If you're right-handed, tell them to hold their right hand. If left-handed, tell them to hold their left hand out. You see where we're going? And say, I am going to gift you with something given to me. And I gift you with the sword of the angel Michael or Michael. With little children, you could call me Mikey if you want. And hand them the sword. And tell them to place the sword within their heart and to declare, I am the sword. And tell them, let us both use our sword, and show them your sword. And say, let us both use the sword to make us feel better. And detect around them a cloud of low vibration energy. And show them how you can dissolve it, how they can dissolve it, and place the sword in that cloud of energy. Maybe it is the cloud of energy of not getting the cookie, or the cloud of energy of feeling abandoned when they were so young, or the cloud of energy of fear. And tell them that because they can see this cloud of energy, that proves that this energy, this cloud of energy, is not them. They are not their anxiety. They are not their fear. They are not the abandonment. They are love. And show them how to place the sword in that cloud of energy. And ask them, where do you feel in your body? Where do you feel the energy of this anger, or of this fear, or this rejection? And show them how to place the sword within that area, be it in their gut, or their heart, or their head, or their fingers even. And help them to guide the sword there. And show them the trick. I call it a trick. Show them. See, it's gone. There's an emptiness here. Let us call now. We call now on Source. You can use whatever name you wish for that. And say, please fill me with all the love I needed then, but didn't receive. Please fill me with love to make this empty space full of love. You heal yourself, because when you are not healed, you react. Some people actually respond with pain. Some, it just reacts. Some make a plan to make others feel as miserable as they feel. You make the decision to not be that way. That's part of healing. You make the decision, as was done in the healing experience before I came on, to call upon the amazing love of the Creator to dissolve the hardness of your heart, whether it's a little bit of hardness or a lot of hardness. Everyone has some. Why? For protection. For protection. When your heart is exposed, you will be hurt. As long as you have expectations. When you release expectations, when you release attachments to how life is supposed to go, it's easier to let go that hurt. And it is a skill. every human being needs to learn how to do. That as soon as you have been hurt in some way, which could have been intentional hurt or unintentional hurt, that is where you need to be in your heart source and to declare, I am the sword. And then you ask that sword, along with your encodement team, to dissolve the energy of pain, to remove all of those artificial encodements, to repair the damaged and altered natural encodements. You ask for love to flood that area which had the pain. And I want to tell you something important. That love does not need to come from source. That love can come from you. You can send love from your heart to that space that was wounded, that was damaged. Because you are love. You send love to others. You can send love to yourself. This is all part of spiritual Lovefare. As you know, I am a multidimensional being, as is everyone who is around you that is not in the physical. Those who you knew in this incarnation but have left you are still learning how to manage that energy, their energy of multidimensionality. You are a multidimensional being yourself. You experienced that when I asked you to find out how old you were when you felt that wound, that energy. There are so many aspects of you that you have grown out of. There are so many aspects of you that are no longer part of yourself in one way until you let it go. If only you could see the beauty of your spirit, amazing beauty of your spirit. Do not be shy, do not be reluctant to call upon healing for yourself. It does not matter whether you use the tools that Amma has given you, or you use the tools of some other wonderful being. Why does it not matter? Well, we are all one, are we not? And there are times other tools fit you better, that you enjoy better. There is no jealousy on our part because we are totally in touch with our oneness. And we rejoice with you. We know who you are. Be in your heart source. Use the heart source. Use the sword. Use the heart healing center. Use the golden structure within your heart. Use the violet flame. And as you do that with yourself, you will be able to send out loving energy that is pure and of higher vibration than you have ever imagined. And that is what this world needs. My blessings to you. Amma says hi. Abba says hi. And you are surrounded in love. Well, that was interesting. This is Kathy. Anybody have any questions or comments or whatever? Anne, I've seen you, you have unmuted. Anything you want to say?
Well, it was incredible, really. The energy. I feel quite wiped out by it.
Okay. Sandy, how
Wonderful.
about you? I'm sorry, Anne, if you have more to say, please say.
I was just going to say, wonderful to connect with Archangel Michael in this way.
I agree. Thank you. Sandy, did you have something?
Just, it felt very supportive, like a hug, you know, like a hug. And I did feel this current Sandy holding hands with the younger Sandy in support, and totally felt that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Mhm.
That's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, another Anne. I see you unmuted.
Yes, well, I found it extremely loving and powerful, and I'm definitely going to listen to it again. It's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Good, thank you. And Cleo.
Well, I just was so grateful that he would speak to us. He and I go back to the beginning of my learning about spirituality and the universe. He's been
Yeah.
my mentor all this time. And we don't hear from him that much. And I thought that this was the most wonderful, helpful message. The first thing I thought, are we going to transcribe this? Because I want to be able to read it over and over again. But I'm doing spiritual Lovefare 24/7 here. And that is what Alma has asked me to do. So his suggestions, his hints kind of were helpful to me, and I want to follow them to the T.
Thank
So
you.
thank you, Mikhail. Thank you.
Cleo, Alma wanted me just now, it came into my mind, is to know that the spiritual love fair work that you are doing has actually extended some people's lives. Because they have been, it's been able to clear energies that would, in a sense, bring people down and, of course, affect them physically. So when you do that, she said, you have been extending people's lives so that they could come to know more of themselves and others. So I think that's amazing.
I do too. And it's so wonderful when I get this kind of feedback, because without it, I don't know what's, all I do. I walk around waving Michael's sword and, all that stuff. So I don't have feedback. I don't know what I've done. So when beloved Alma tells us or somebody else, I feel such joy.
There you go.
Mm.
Anybody else? Okay, folks, thank you very much. And I hope to see those of you from the digestive intensive tomorrow afternoon. And have a great week at this first week of October. Okay?
You too.
Thank you,
too.
Kathy.
Blessings
Thank
and love.
you. Thank you. Blessings, everybody.
Yeah.
I love
Bye.
all of you.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Many blessings.